Hello, everybody. It's like we got Grandma Teresa.
No credit check. About $39 a
Got to
month
turn
as
the
of right
sound
now.
off on this thing. Bear with me a minute. Now, I just posted the link. If anybody wants to get up on screen with me, they can. This is just a question and answer time today for gardening, cooking, whatever you might have on your mind. Hi, Donna and Grandma Teresa, Susan. There, I've pinned the link so you can get on screen at the top of the live chat. Let's see, we got Dennis and grandkids. We've got Donna Placetti, Pletia, Sheila McDaniel, Susan Smith, Donna Murphy, Grandma Teresa. I haven't seen Connie or Gladys yet, but they'll probably be here. Thank you. I kind of overdid it in the yard mowing and then helping with the trees being cut down and trimmed and all that. And I've still got a pile of them to burn in the backyard that I haven't burnt yet. But my leg and my neck has started bothering me. I ended up with a pinched nerve up here. So it was affecting my right leg. So I decided I better kind of take it easy for a day or so. And it's been feeling better, but it's not 100% yet. So I don't want to push my luck. And there's Ashley Chapman. Hello. How is everybody today? There's Laura C. Hello, Laura. We got Denise. Howdy. Howdy to you. I think I pronounced that right. Denise H 1031. Decorating for Halloween. Well, this is all the decoration that I got right up behind me that I'm gonna put up for right now. This is actually autumn, going into fall. So I haven't started my Halloween stuff yet. You notice my pumpkin is not a Halloween pumpkin. It's more or less autumn and a Thanksgiving pumpkin. It's not really for Halloween, but I'll draw a face on him for Halloween. Sitting with a heating pad today, back went out yesterday, Grandma Teresa. Yeah, you sound like me. I overdid it with the lawnmower and working in the garden and then helping with the trees being cut back and all on the road front. And I paid for it. The next day I got up, I was fine. I stepped out the back door to do a video of the rain. And when I went to back up and come back in the house, the minute I picked my right leg up, a pain shot down my side and down my leg. And it made a cramp in my calf of my leg. And for the most part, the cramp is gone, but it was there and it wouldn't go away. I mean, I could put pressure on my leg, stand up, but when I tried to bend my leg to walk, oh, it hurt so bad it was killing me. So I had to like kind of keep my leg straight and not bend it trying to walk with that cramp in it. But it's getting better because I'm almost back to work walking normal now. So I don't want to push my luck yet. Yeah, you watch me work on the trees. I know it's not because I've got a back and neck injury. And if I overdo it, I either get I either aggravate the sciatic nerve or whatever they call it, and that might be what it is this time. I don't know. But one other time I overdid it and I couldn't put weight on my right leg at all. It hurt so bad I would almost hit the floor. And it was like that for several days. I had to just lay around with my feet elevated, and finally it got back to normal, but now I'm starting to push my luck a little bit too far again. Usually after I mow, I just take a day and rest. I don't do anything strenuous. Maybe I do a cooking video or something like that. But then that guy said he could come, Cody said he could come that next day. And I said, oh my God, I don't really want to mess with it, but he said he could come. So I guess I better let him come over. So he did. And really, I didn't have to help drag the limbs away, but I did. So, you live and learn and you pay for what you do. Please do take it easy. I have two pinched nerves and damage to my central nervous system and my vagus nerve. I have the same issues. Yeah. Well, see, I ruptured a disc in my neck and crushed the vertebrae in my neck. And at the same time, I ruptured a disc in my lower back. And back in 84, I think it was, 85, I had surgery on both. And I've had, I'm a lot better than I was when I first was injured. But even though you have surgery, it takes care of the problem. But then you're limited to what you can do physically. And I push the limit all the time. I really do. Yeah, my mind doesn't tell me I'm getting older, but my body does. And my body tells me that I've got a back and neck injury that I need to deal with and, not push myself. But I don't listen. My 10-year-old grandson loves the grill you were cooking on. Oh, really? It's a nice one. I love it because you can bake in it. You can, I do my baked potatoes on it when I'm grilling out. Like if I grill out a steak, I'll wrap a baked potato up or a potato up in foil and I'll put it right in there and it'll cook it just like it does in the oven because it gets hot. I mean, you can get it really hot. Well, it was raining here yesterday and it rained some last night because when I looked out at the sidewalk this morning, it was drenched in water again. And it had yesterday afternoon and last night to kind of dry off. So I knew it had to have rained sometime during the night. Well, thank you, Donna. You said I make everything look so delicious. I walked around my garden and my garden's perked up, but I do need to get out there and tie up some tomato plants and pepper plants because they're getting so tall. All that rain just kind of weighted them down and now they're leaning over. So I need to get out there and stake them up a little bit. Yeah, it's the pit's getting older. I do take ibuprofen. You still got to try the shrimp scampi. It's good. I liked it. And I had a diabetic that said that she was so glad that I showed to do it with ramen noodles because the ramen noodles have less, I don't know, maybe sugar or something in it that diabetics can't, don't need. And she said she can eat it with the ramen noodles, with the shrimp scampi, where she can't eat it with regular pasta noodles. Thank you, Denise. Said that I look pretty today. Well, like I said, I haven't been out working in the yard. It's a little cooler today, so it's not burning hot. I mean, it's still plenty warm out there. It's in the 80s, high 80s, 87 exactly right now. But it's not like it's 95 or 100. And I just walked around the yard looking at everything, assessing any damage that the rain had done. And I was getting pretty warm by the time I got in the house. But I do need to get back out there and tie up some of my pepper plants and stuff. because they got so tall and big that the weight of the rain just kind of drooped them over. So I do need to stake them up a little bit. Donna Murphy says, I had a major fall that broke my tailbone, and I have blackout spells where it affected that because of additional falls. Wow. Well, they waited a year after my injury before they did surgery because my chiropractor wanted me back in the best possible shape that he could get me in over that year so I could undergo surgery. He said if I'd have went into surgery when I first got hurt, chances are very high that I would have come out in a wheelchair, that I'd have been in a wheelchair the rest of my life. But, you know, I worked with my chiropractor. Sometimes I was in there 2 or 3 times a day, every day. Then it was down to once a day. Then it was down to a couple of times a week. Then it was a couple of times a month. I was taking a lot of calcium, trying to build my bones up. So I was in pretty good shape by the time I went in and had surgery. And one thing that one reason they decided to do it when they did is because I started having a blackout spell. It's not really a blackout, but what happened, I was fully conscious and I was at work at Walmart, and I'm a department manager. And yeah, I was able to go back to work at that point. But I couldn't do anything real strenuous. But this one day I had a customer call for my departments with a question, and they called me to the courtesy desk to answer the phone call. Well, I started up to the courtesy desk and I got maybe 4 feet from the desk and everything went black. I couldn't hear, but I was fully awake. I was conscious. I was standing there. I didn't pass out. So I managed to take another couple of steps and I felt the counter. I put my hands on the counter and I told the lady at the desk, I said, please take the call. I said, I can't hear. I can't see anything. I can't take the call. And she took the call for me. And after a few minutes, everything was fine. My sight came back, my hearing came back, and I was fine. I worked the rest of the day. But when I told my chiropractor about that, he said, well, that's dangerous. He said, if you'd have been driving your car and that would have happened, he said you could have wrecked the car, killed yourself, or killed someone else. So we can't have that. That's too dangerous. He said, even though you didn't completely black out, you can't see, you can't hear, even though you're fully aware that you're awake, which is really crazy. So they went ahead and scheduled me for my surgery, which was a year after the injury. And I came through it fantastic. I think I had a really good, I had fantastic doctors. I had good surgeons. I had my bones in good shape. So I came through it fine. And even though that was back in 84, you still have to deal with the problems that the injury left you. No matter how many surgeries you have, you're still going to have problems from the injury. You're limited with your physical work. And like I said, I have a tendency to push myself. And I know I shouldn't, but I do. Anytime you want to ask a question, Dennis, it starts. Anytime you got a question, ask the question. I'll do my best to answer it. Oh, no. Well, see, I was under workers' comp. And that's about the chances they gave me was 50-50. But the alternative was even worse. So I went for the surgery. And I'm glad I did. What's your question, Dennis? Was that really your son? And no, that was not any relatives at all. That was Cody. His name is Cody, and that was his wife. And they're just friends, acquaintances that I have. He does that type of work to pick up money, and his wife usually goes with him and helps him. That's the reason I advertised his name and his phone number. for odd jobs, that type of thing, just to help him out. And I did mention it was for Hood County. So I know that the video went I mean, it went all over the whole world, but I did mention in the video that it was for Hood County. So people will know he's in Hood County, Texas. This is where he'll be doing the work. No, it was not my son and daughter-in-law. That was my friend Cody and his wife that came to help cut the trees for me. My son was working. He was on his job that day. And there's Martha Medina. Hello. Well, you should have sued the company. If you got hurt on the job, they're responsible for your bills, your injury. And you should have hired an attorney to go after them for your medical and the injuries that the disability it may have left you. And there's Izzo 700. Well, hello. Thank you for saying I'm beautiful. I don't feel very beautiful, but thank you. Yeah, I went ahead and put out seeds in the other raised garden up here that I already had dirt in. The one that I had put turnips in, just regular turnips. I pulled the turnips and I did cook a mess of turnips and showed it in a video. And I went ahead and replanted carrot seeds in half of it, and carrots, and what else was it? My mind just went blank. I planted one half of it in carrots. And now I don't remember what I planted the other half in. Let me see if I can find the seeds. Because I know I put them in here together. In one of my totes that I pulled something out of, I don't remember what it was, I planted collard seeds, y'all. Because if they come up, you got to thin them out anyway. So if they come up, I'm going to start pulling them and transplanting them. And I'm thinking I'm going to transplant them into the new raised bed if I ever get the dirt in it. Trying to remember what I planted over there. I know it was carrots. Oh, radishes. My radishes. I planted radish in one half and I planted carrots in the other. And I still haven't planted lettuce. I'm going to keep on, but it's going to be too late to plant lettuce. And I threw some cilantro seed in a couple of the small pots because this is a good time to plant cilantro because it's cooler. So we'll see if they come up. What did Izzy do? Well, you can put him in timeout, I know, or you can hide him from the channel, I think. I didn't catch the messages, so I don't know what he said. You can remove him. You can remove him or put him in timeout. Yeah, I see he's back. I didn't catch the other messages that he left, so I was too busy looking for my seed to try to tell you what I was planting. And there's Patricia. Hello. How's Patricia doing today? If he comes back in, Cindy, just block him or remove him. Yeah, or even better, just ignore him unless he really gets vulgar. The three, if you'll go to the right side of your name, there's three dots. Click on those dots, and a list will come up of the things that you can do. You can report him, you can remove him, you can put him in timeout, you can hide user from the channel, which he can come into chat, but nobody's going to see him. Well, I'm glad you did, Cindy. Cindy says I hit him. Good, thank you. Yeah, I forgot I never told all of you new moderators that that's what the three dots are over on to the right of your name. You click on that and it drops down a menu and you got choices of what you can do. Yeah, it makes him invisible to our chat. He can come in all he wants. He can watch, he can listen, he can type, but nobody's going to see what he's typing and nobody's going to see him. But he can come in all he wants. Oh, look at there. He's already changed his name again. It's Izu 500 now instead of 700. That's what they do. So sometimes it's best just to ignore them or either just, hide them from the channel because they'll just come back in under a different name. And it only takes him a couple of minutes to change his name and comes right back in. I don't know why people want to do that. They have nothing better to do than to go around to people's live chats and put in vulgar or offensive remarks. Yeah, ignore him and maybe he'll go away. But if she hit him, we won't be seeing him until he changes his name again. And there's Claire Quinn. Hello, Claire. How are you? You're almost a stranger to my channel and you pop in every once in a while and I'm so happy to see you. Yeah, it's not much. It's just my boy scarecrow and my pumpkin and my little garland with little pumpkins and stuff, and I got an orange candle. No, I'm not a native Texan. I'm originally from North Carolina, just outside of Wilmington, or just inland from Wilmington, North Carolina. I did live on Oak Island, but my hometown is Atkinson, North Carolina. It's about 20 miles inland from Wilmington, the port city. That's all flooded right now. Oak Island, Southport, that whole area, all the beaches, everything got flooded. And we're supposed to get hit with another hurricane. I don't know what's going to happen if they get any more rain. Well, that's good. We enjoy having you come in and now and again, Claire. Yeah, I forgot to, Sheila. That was all. Would you like a wrench too? Yeah, there's Oak Island, North Carolina, and that's where I lived with my husband before, just before we came to Texas. His job in Southport, the nuclear power plant there, transferred him to Comanche Peak, which is about 15 minutes from Granbury. So that's what brought us to Texas, was his job. And we divorced about 6, 7 years later. And I'm here. He retired with a job. He's already back in North Carolina at his hometown, Vale, North Carolina, just outside of Charlotte. Yeah, I would have loved to stayed on Oak Island. I loved living there. We rented the house, but I still loved living there. We were only two blocks from the beach strand itself, so I could come out. I'd get my house cleaned up, all that done, and when I'd get Margaret in her kindergarten, and Chad was a baby, so I would just put him in his stroller, and I'd go down to the beach. Are you still friends with who? My internet is messing up. Punching and go back. That's weird, Sheila. Denise says, "Are you?" No, Donna says, "Are you still friends?" I don't understand the question. Are you asking me if I'm still friends with someone? Your ex? Well, I don't harbor any hard feelings because I said that would just hurt the situation. I mean, my kids know that he was abusive. He knows they know why the divorce took place. He left because he was with another woman, and he come home and he was real abusive to me. So we ended up divorced. I couldn't handle it anymore. He was the one that left. He filed for divorce. I counterfiled. And it was funny because the attorney said, well, you could uh, bring a motion against the divorce. I said, well, that's not going to make any sense. I said, you can't make someone stay with you. You can't make someone stay married to you if they want a divorce. He wants a divorce because he's got a girlfriend. Well, he got his divorce. He married her, lived with her for about 3 months, and then kicked her out because he realized she was after his money. And that's all I'm going to say. Yeah, you got to do what you got to do. It was just a bad abusive situation. I mean, he went to work every day. Don't get me wrong. He was a good provider. He paid the bills. He bought the things that we needed. That was not a problem. But every once in a while, I guess it was because the pressure partly of his job, plus the fact that he did have a girlfriend, that he'd get upset at work, come home and take it out on me. And I got tired of it. Okay, Sheila. I mean, I put in a lot of people for moderators that day because there was only one showed up of my moderators, and I just went through there and I started making people moderators. And usually, if they don't want to be a moderator, they'll tell you, oh, I don't want to be one, and I'll just change it so they don't have to be one. But I tell everybody, just because you're a moderator does not mean you got to be at every live. And I understand that you can't. That's one reason it's good to have quite a few moderators. So hopefully at least one or two will show up when you do go live if the rest can't. Well, thank you. With my pumpkin, and that's a real pumpkin. I stopped in Brookshire's the other day to pick up a red onion, and I came out with my pumpkin. And that's one reason I put this dress on, because it's got a lot of the bright orange, the pumpkiny orange color in it. But yeah, I decided I wanted to go live because I was thinking maybe some people had questions that they wanted to ask, maybe about gardening, cooking, anything basically that we can answer questions for. Okay, Sheila. Susie Ann, blessings to you and yours. Well, hi, Susie Ann. Welcome to our live chat. And I only gave about an hour notice that I was going live. So, Patricia said, sorry, I put up with it for 25 years. Now I'm married to a godly man for almost 31. He is a gift from God. Well, thank goodness you found a good one, Patricia. Okay, Sheila. Sheila's got a reboot. Sometimes it will go crazy, and if you reboot it, it straightens it out. But like I was telling everybody, I'm on StreamYard today, so I did pin the link at the top of the live chat. So if anybody wants to get up on screen with me, you're welcome to come on up here with me. Sometimes people like to do that. So if you want to come on up on screen with me, feel free to do so. There's Alfonso. Hi there, Alfonso. Yeah, I'm having a real good day. I'm feeling a little bit better. I overdid with mowing and working in the garden and cutting tree limbs, and I paid for it for several days, but it's getting a lot better now. Yeah, that was Cody and his wife. And I always said, here lately that I'm going to try to go live at different times of the day just to see how many will show up, because I know everybody that subscribes to my channel, everyone's in a different time zone. And sometimes 7 o'clock is, it might be midnight or 1 a.m. where they're at, and they're in bed asleep. So they don't want to get up and get on, the live. Is there an easy way to peel squash? It depends on what kind of squash you're talking about. Yellow squash, if it's a real young yellow squash, you don't even have to peel it, because the peeling will cook soft and you can eat the peeling. If it's a hard one, I'd go ahead and peel it. Now, if it's a pumpkin like this or like a winter squash, um, you can chop those in half, put them on a pan and put them in a microwave, or put them in your oven and cook them till they're tender, and just scoop the squash out. I don't understand the question, Claire. Do you put frost cloths on? Well, thank you, Martha Medina. You have a blessed day as well. Put a frost cover cloth on what? There's some things you don't have to cover for the frost. Some things you do. Like my peppers, no, I do not cover because when it gets that cold, they're going to quit producing anyway, and the plant's going to die. Tomatoes, if during the first frost, I pick all my tomatoes, green ones, ripe ones, every one of them, if it's going to freeze that night, because I know that freeze is going to kill my plants. My spinach, my collards, my cabbage, all that kind of stuff, they like the cold weather. They like a frost. So you don't have to cover those. Do you live by any railroad tracks? No, not really. The railroad tracks do go through Granbury, but that's in town. And if I'm in the yard, if there's a train going through and it blows the horn, I might hear the horn slightly, but it's way off in the distance. Yeah, and I'm hoping my carrots and my radishes will come up and produce before the first frost because we don't expect our first frost till like the first week in November or second week in November. Sometimes we get a freeze on Halloween, the last day of October. But I looked at the almanac and it says our first frost is supposed to be around the last of the first week of November. And there's Tenny. Hello, Tenny. Glad you could come to chat. I hope I'm not speaking too loud. I have a habit of talking really loud for some reason. Yeah, the carrots don't take that long. Let's see. Cherry bell radish is what this is. The cherry bells, the little round ones, the ones that I usually love to eat. It says it's the most favorite vegetable to grow. They are quick to mature, usually just in about 3 weeks. So if they sprout, which I'm hoping they'll go ahead and do after this rain on them, that I'll have some radish and maybe some carrots in about 3 or 4 weeks, which will be pushing toward the end of October. So that should be before we get our first freeze. And you usually plant collards, cabbage, all kind of stuff like that. And I had a list. What did I do with my list? I don't know where I put my list. Well, I don't know what I did with my list, but right now, if you'll look it up in your time zone, because everybody's time zone is different, right now is a good time to plant collards, cabbage, your carrots, your radish. A lot of those brassicas do real well, like my spinach. But I've had that growing all summer, and it pretty much will grow all winter as well. Because sometimes, even in the winter, if the leaves freeze and die back and the root is still there, they'll start regrowing leaves for your spinach and your cabbages, your collards. Because I have tree collards. I have purple kale, which is walking stick kale. It grows on a stalk like a tree. We'll see what our garden looks like after Thursday. Tropical storm right now, but expected to be category 3 hurricane. Oh no, Tenny, I'm so sorry. Yeah, hoping your garden and you come through that real good. Thank you, Patricia. Telling me my hair looks good. I don't always look like I'm digging in the dirt, y'all. Or I try not to look like I'm digging in the dirt every day. And Sheila's back. And I ordered some holy basil. I had been wanting holy basil forever. And I finally got some. That's it. It's cold tolerant, but it said to avoid frost. Days to sprout, seven to 14 days. So I may go ahead and throw just a couple of these holy basil plant or seed in a small pot and put them out here on the patio and just see if it'll come up, and save the rest of them for the spring to plant them. Because I'm told holy basil is one of the best basils to make your basil tea. And I've just always grown regular basil that I've got in the garden now. I've got 2 pots of basil, but it's regular basil. It's not holy basil. And I planted some basil. Somehow the seeds got mixed up. It was just supposed to be plain basil, and some of it tasted like licorice. I've never gotten hold of basil that tasted like licorice before. So I don't know what the name of it would have been, what name basil it would be. Oh, well, good, Ashley. She planted some lime basil seeds, and now she has lime basil sprouts. Well, good. So I'm going to plant my holy basil. I think when I go outside to tie my pepper plants up and check on my tomato plants, I might take this out there with me and put just a few seeds in a pot. Because I love my basil. I grow basil every year. I dry it so I have it through the winter, and because I cook with it. Licorice flavored foods. How many can you name? I can't name any of them. I don't even know what type of basil that was that tasted like licorice. It looked almost identical to the regular basil that I planted. But I noticed when the plant started growing, there was just a tiny bit of difference in the leaves. Not much, just a tiny bit. And I just took one of the leaves and put it in my mouth and kind of bit down on it, and it tasted like licorice. My gay seems some basil can taste them. Really? Well, it will look just like my other basil, but it did taste like licorice. And there's Paws in the garden. Hello, Paws. Welcome. Yeah, this is just a question and answer time, a blog video, because I know there's a lot of times people have gardening questions or cooking questions or questions in general, and they don't really get a chance to ask those questions on Thursday. Sometimes they don't get a chance on Sunday. So I said this would be a good time just to have a question and answer. I'm taking you all to the bus stop with me. Where are we going, Ashley? Or are you going to pick up kids? When I first started going live, I had several subscribers came in and started asking questions about human compost and this type of thing. And I think some of the other people in the chat were kind of taken aback by it. And the people that were asking the questions didn't feel too comfortable. So I don't think they ever came back. Daughter off the school bus. Yeah, that's what I thought. I figured you were going to the school bus to pick up somebody getting off of it. But there is a lot of people in different areas. It depends on where you live that do get into human composting. It takes a lot longer to compost. Usually it's got to compost for at least a year before you can use it. I don't deal with human compost. I deal with just nature's compost like leaves, food scraps, uh, rotted down wood bark, that type of thing. Well, I don't have tomatoes to can yet. My tomatoes usually put out a new crop of tomatoes about this time of year when it starts cooling down a little bit. And I usually can pick a few that ripen, but then usually they're just crammed full of green tomatoes just before we have a freeze. So usually I get out there and pick all the green tomatoes so they don't freeze, and I make chow chow out of them. But so far, I've not gotten enough ripe tomatoes at one time to can. I either don't plant enough of them or they just don't produce fast enough for me to, get enough to can them. And I don't buy tomatoes to can. Well, tell your daughter hello, Ashley. Yeah, see, I've been thinking about putting buckets in that raised bed instead of filling it up with dirt because I'm not sure where I want to put it permanently. And if I fill buckets up and put them inside it, that gives me a barrier around it so I don't have to put the buckets up on something or put rocks around them to keep the mower from hitting them, that type of thing. And then I can go ahead and build my soil in my buckets and plant in the buckets. So if I decide to move it next in the spring, it'll be easy just to pick the buckets out and move the whole thing. But the thing of it is, I haven't built the soil in the buckets either yet. I've got the buckets sitting inside the raised bed, but I haven't put soil in them yet. I mean, I may have to wait till spring to do it, but I've got it out there right now. I just haven't been able to get out there and do it. Yeah, well, I take a few of them and I put them on the counter and I let them ripen. But the ones that are really green, I just chop them up and make chow chow with them because I love chow chow. I'd rather have the chow chow than have like regular pickle relish. I've never tried it with putting a banana in the bag, but I'll have to try that. So, how many of you are planting a fall garden? I mean, see, it's different in different areas wherever your zone is, your growing zone, because Texas stays warm. I mean, forever. I mean, we may get a freeze like the first part or the middle part of November, but then during the day, it's going to be 70 degrees, sometimes even higher than that. Because usually you can run around in December with shorts on in Texas. You still have tomatoes and zucchini coming. My zucchini just did not do anything this year, and I got very few squash. And usually I have so much zucchini and squash, I can't do anything with it all. I'm pickling it, and this year I just haven't had any. And there's Susan. Hi, Susan. You just got home. Well, that's okay. Are you going to ever build you need some handrails? Just wondering if I have any plans on doing that. Not any plans right now. I don't know. Sheila asked me if I had any plans on building a safer step for your back door. I don't know handrails and just might get in my way. But no, I really don't have any plans to do it. I've thought a few times about what could I do with these steps, to make a better step, but I've never acted on it. I'm drinking my tea, y'all. Oh, I'll tell you, since I started making iced tea, I just drink it every day. Thai basil. Well, maybe that's the kind of basil that I had that was mixed up with some of my other seed. It was Thai basil because it tasted like licorice, and I didn't know there was a basil that would taste like licorice. Because I got to thinking, I said, I bet that would make an interesting tea, a licorice basil to make a tea with. Or I don't know, maybe I bought a package of basil and it was Thai basil and I didn't realize it. Yeah, I homebrew mine too, Denise. I mean, it's too expensive to go out and buy a gallon of tea. $4 for a gallon jug of tea when you can buy a $4 package of family tea bags and make 48 gallons of tea for the same price you pay for 1 gallon. Well, they're secure. I mean, they're not going to move anywhere. They're like wedged under the door frame, so the steps can't move. You get scared when you see me come down the step. Well, that's okay. You can ask any questions. Yeah, I've thought several times over the years about changing the step to the back door, but I wasn't sure how to do it or what I wanted to do with it, so I just never acted on it. Yeah, it's too easy to make a gallon of tea. Just put a tea bag in your coffee pot, fill the top with water, turn it on, put your tea bag in there, and brew your tea right there. In just a few minutes, you got a gallon of tea. You're in the basement, Alfonso? What are you doing in the basement? I was looking there to see how many people I had watching. It shows I got 53. Susan said, okay, I knocked myself off. Yeah, you don't even need a coffee pot. For many, many years, I just boiled a pot of water, threw a tea bag in it, brewed it, poured it in my container, filled it up with water, put my sweetener in there, and there's my iced tea. Just that easy. Yeah, Thai basil does taste like licorice. That must have been what I had growing out there with my regular basil. And I didn't realize I even planted Thai basil. Yeah, I did it that way for many years. And I just decided one day rather than put a pot on the stove, I just put it in the coffee maker and see how well it did in there. And I liked it. So I continue making it that way. I mean, as long as you keep your coffee pot washed out, it's not going to make your tea taste like coffee. And your coffee's not going to taste like tea. Because, like I said, here a year or two ago, I bought a regular iced tea maker. I bought it just to see how it would work, basically. And the thing made such a mess on your counter. I said, oh my God, this is ridiculous. I wouldn't have this thing. And I took it back to the store and returned it. I said, I will make it in my coffee pot. That way I've got one maker up there and I can make my coffee and I can make my tea in it. Oh, you have a frost on October 10th. And see, our first frost is not until November. I think they predicted like November 12th, if I'm not badly mistaken. So my carrots should have plenty of time to germinate, come up, and produce before our first freeze or the first frost. Yeah, you can boil water in the microwave too. There's a lot of different ways to do it. But I like making it in the coffee pot because that way I can drink a hot cup of tea if I want it, or I can let it cool down, put ice in it, and drink iced tea. I like keeping a jug of iced tea in the refrigerator because then if I decide I want hot tea, I can just pour a cup of hot tea out of the pitcher, put it in the microwave, heat it up, and I got a cup of hot tea. It's already made. Same with deep fryers. Think they need one, but all you need is a saucepan. Exactly, Grandma Teresa. September 25th is your first frost date. Oh my goodness. That's tomorrow. Yeah, I took mine back, Sheila. I said I'll use my coffee maker because the coffee maker don't put water all over the counter. And I said just because it's a Mr. Coffee doesn't mean you can't make tea in it. And I said I don't have room really on my counter for both. I'm limited with my counter space, so just having the coffee maker there is good. Oh wow, where did you buy your chicken, Susan? Kroger. I'm gonna have to check out my chicken in the freezer, see what cuts I've got. Because I've been thinking about maybe doing another cookout this coming Sunday with chicken. I tried sun tea and it's good, but it takes too long for me. When I want tea and I want to make tea, I want it now. I don't want to wait half a day for my tea to brew out in the sun. Yeah, I lost patience. I even bought the jug, the gallon jug, to purposely put your tea out in the sun to brew it in the sun. And I said, no, I'll brew it in the house and I'll pour it in the jug. I mean, it's like we get enough sun here in Texas, it's no problem brewing it. It's just that I don't have the patience to wait for it. New sale starts tomorrow. You got it before midnight. Okay. Or you got to do it before midnight. Yeah, and see, I'd always forget to put it out. So I'd have the tea when I wanted it. And then I didn't want to do sun tea because then I'd have to wait hours before my tea's done. And I said, I'd just boil it in the pot. But ever since I started making it in my Mr. Coffee maker, that's how I make my tea now. You don't have a Kroger in Minnesota. I don't think I've been to Kroger's buy one, get one free, but Brookshire's has them ever so often. And I love going to their buy one, get one free, or buy one, get one for a penny is what it is. Yours is called Dylan's. Yeah, I thought I might try some Hawaiian chicken this coming Sunday if I don't fix it before. We'll see. Okay, Claire, you have a blessed day and a safe week. We have Kroger. It is called Fries. Okay, Dennis. Oh, wow, you got raspberries in your garden, Alfonso. I love raspberries. And my raspberry bush has never produced a raspberry. And I don't know if it's because I got it in a big pot. Maybe it would produce if I put it in the ground. I mean, it has blooms on it every year, like it's going to put out big clumps of raspberries, and I never have any. So I think I'm probably going to have to put it in the ground somewhere. Get it out of the pot. In fact, I might try to find a place for it because the ground's got to be really wet and soft to dig. Like I planted my banana trees, not pineapple. It rained for 5 days, so the ground was real soft. Because you saw how many rocks I dug up out of that hole, and it's impossible to dig it if it's all dry and packed down. It's like trying to dig through concrete. Dennis and grandkids says you still have an IGA. And you have a lot of Publix groceries. Yeah, I guess it's got something to do with the soil because you don't see raspberries growing wild around here anywhere. You don't see wild blueberries, raspberries, blackberries, or any of that. You see plenty of cactus. So I guess maybe it's just not the right type of soil for raspberries. Susie Ann says, I want to umpa lumpa now. Huh? You keep me smiling and chuckling. Sometimes I did forget the sun tea and it turned bitter. Your method would definitely avoid that. Yeah. I've heard of people putting sun tea out and it goes bad. And when they drank it, it made them sick. I thought to myself, well, how long did you leave it out there? Denise says she's got to go because her cat wants to play. Yeah, and it gets way too hot out here for sun tea. I don't think you want to make sun tea in 105-degree temperatures. But like I said, I'm a now person. When I want tea, I want it. I don't want to wait several hours to get it. Getting ready for a hurricaneator. I think he said he's meaning he's getting ready, waiting for a hurricane, a hurricaneator. He calls it a hurricaneator. Hurricaneator. Hurricaneator in Florida. Is that what y'all call it in Florida? Yeah, stay safe. I watched one of the forecasts on the radar where it was showing that other hurricane forming and showed it was going to be a doozy if it hit the coast, Gulf of Mexico. But here where I'm at in north central Texas, I'm far enough north and central part of the Texas state that we don't usually get bothered with the hurricanes. We just have to look out for the tornadoes, the wind and the hail and that type of stuff. Not so much the hurricanes. But now North Carolina, that's hurricane country. We had hurricanes every year, several of them. Still do. But you can't be right on the coast of North Carolina and not get hit by a hurricane. Grandma Teresa says I'm in Ohio, but it's still raining. Oh, that rain we got yesterday was glorious. And like I said, we got a little bit more during the night. So my garden is loving it. Linda, can you please get me up? Are you still in the basement, Alfonso? Yes. What are you doing in the basement? Got my electric train. Oh, you're playing with your train. Suzanne says Hurricaneator must be watching Ryan Hall. Y'all doing his YouTube hurricane tornado weather reports. I don't usually watch that. I check the weather on my phone. You can go to the radar and the forecast for this area. Oh no, Cindy, your son got his surgery yesterday and he's in so much pain. Breaks my heart. Did he not give him any pain medicine? I mean, you would think they gave him enough pain medicine that he wouldn't be in pain after surgery. Dennis says, wishing your son well. My grandson has a cast. He broke his ankle. Yeah, I remember that. You said that he got hurt, but I don't remember how he broke his ankle. But I do remember that. And you said you were having to wait to hear all the details and the extent of his injuries or something. But he did have a broken ankle, so he's in a cast. Who wants to be on screen? All they got to do is, oh, I'm sorry. I haven't been looking.
Hey Linda, how are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I see you. Hello. I'm sorry. I didn't know you were backstage waiting. I hadn't even been watching it.
That's alright.
I did not even
Uh,
look.
so how have you been?
Been good. I mean, like I said, I overdid it with mowing and helping with the tree limbs and stuff. And I've been down yesterday and today a little bit. I went to doing some cooking videos, which was a little bit easier on me.
You
But
do?
my hip and leg and all is feeling better today. So you're down there playing with your train set.
Yeah, my electric train. In fact, I just derailed one of my train just derailed, so I just need to.
Oh, you derailed it?
Yeah, I've pulling like 20 cars max. They're the big ones.
I see.
Yeah, the big G scale model trains.
My first daughter-in-law, her dad loved trains, and he took over his garage. He's got a big table set up in this garage,
Yeah,
and it's all set up for his train sets. He's got trains running out there. So his garage houses his trains. It don't house his car. He has trains out there.
that's nice. Well, let me see what's going on back behind the layout because some car got knocked over. Trying to get it.
Yeah, I have so few people that usually want to get on the live, even when I'm on StreamYard. I forget to look over there at the little bar where it says I have a guest waiting backstage, and I didn't even check it until Cindy said he wants to be on stage. I'm so sorry about that. You've probably been waiting forever. Look at his trains, y'all. Listen to that train.
The long one.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say that's a long train. That
That,
reminds me of the ones that run on the track here that are real.
yeah, they're actually model trains of the real thing. In fact, I've been replacing couplers lately.
How neat.
Yeah. And I got my big Union Pacific locomotive right here.
Oh wow.
It's a $700 machine that I got for $65.
Wow. Union
It's a very,
Pacific.
yep. The Scout, it's a GP38. So this is one part like the early model, the older diesel.
Yeah.
I think the new ones the ones that are currently out there are the SD40. The newer ones are out there right now. Like I remember, like 25 years, 30 years ago, it used to be like, I don't know if you remember the Southern Pacific train, the Southern Pacific locomotive.
My son loved trains when he was little, but he never had a set that big. I mean, his were the smaller ones.
But like the HO scale, the regular size? The
Yeah, the
HO?
little ones. They
The
weren't
electric
very
train?
big. Probably
Yeah,
about half the size of yours.
yeah, like HO scale, like the got the track and the power, the transformer to turn it on.
Yeah.
But the one over here, it runs on. It used to run on electricity because the way I did it, I converted to USB rechargeable battery. It runs on USB rechargeable. I can kind of show you right here. So this is the battery pack, rechargeable. So it also sends power back down to the track. Instead of getting power from the rails, you're feeding power back to the rails.
Oh, wow.
So that's why I'm always very careful when there's a short or if it derails, because when there's a short, that's a lithium battery, it could really explode. If there's ever a short circuit on the track somewhere. It'll just send the battery up in smoke.
Dennis said you had a train wreck when you derailed all of it.
Oh yeah, because from the engine you have like the wheels are metal to get the to get the electricity from the rail. But with battery,
Yeah.
you're sending power back to the rails. You're sending power back to the rails.
Hi there, Frida. We got Frida Cassidy in the house. Welcome.
We've got my cabooses light up too.
Look at that. They're lit
I've
up.
got my automatic crossing gauge that they don't work anymore.
Those are the first trains that I've seen that lit up inside.
Well, they do have lighted cars, but they're expensive.
Like that one and those. They look
Yeah.
like they have lights inside.
Like those cars do light up. I had to change the battery on those. Like on my cabooses, they look light up, but it's actually like DOT reflector tape that I put inside the windows.
Oh, okay.
That's why it makes it look like it's lit up.
Yeah, it looks neat.
It's just some DOT tape that I put. But it really does look like lights up, right?
Yeah. For me watching it on screen, it looks just like they're lit up inside.
Oh yeah. But it's just like the reflector tape.
It looks really cool.
Yeah. Like that's like the better solution for me. Have lighted cars, you know. Didn't have to deal with the wiring and all that. Braking or whatever.
They
Yeah, I
have
know.
a train here that runs from Granbury to Fort Worth,
Okay.
and you have to schedule your ride on it. And it's a dinner train is what it is.
Oh, like an excursion, right?
Yeah, you get on it here in Granbury, it takes you to Fort Worth. You eat a meal while you're on the train going up there,
Right.
and then coming back, I don't know if they serve something to eat going both ways, but I do know it's like a dinner car that you can eat a meal going or coming. It takes you to Fort Worth. You get out and you do a little bit of sightseeing and stuff, and then you get back on the train and it brings you back to Granbury.
Oh, what kind of train is it? A steam passenger train or what is it? Diesel?
I don't even really know. It's one of the old timey trains.
probably a steam passenger train, right?
Yeah, it's a passenger train because it's got all the cars for passengers
Yeah.
set up with tables and everything, just like the people would be served their meal on the train,
Right.
traveling a long distance. I thought that would be kind of neat ride to take, to get on it in Granbury and go to Fort Worth and back, but I've never done it.
I been on a train ride 7 years ago on the Durango and Silverton narrow gauge railroad.
Well, I used to, when I was a kid, they still had trains running through my hometown, Atkinson and Burgaw and that area in Wilmington, Rocky Mount, all that area had trains running. And you could get on the train, I think it was in Rocky Mount, and we could go to New York on the train and come back on the train.
Wow.
And that's how we traveled to go up there to see my grandmother for many years.
Right.
And then they quit running the train. They took the train tracks out and everything, and I hated that.
Yeah.
I always loved to hear the train go through my hometown.
You know what I wanted to do, like at my old house in Denver, before we moved here, we sold but behind our backyard, I found some old abandoned tracks. Old abandoned tracks. Like
Yeah, well, a lot of the tracks, they just pulled up going through my hometown. I don't know if they pulled every bit of the track up, but
well,
the train,
you
the
might
train
find some
depot is still there.
Yeah, but you might find remaining sections left over after they've ripped
Yeah,
most of it
right.
up.
The depot is still there, and I forgot what they're using that for, but it's not for the train anymore.
Right. Now, down in Mexico, not too far from Juarez, like in the small town Villa Amada, Chihuahua, there's a train station there along the railroad track, on the highway, and that train station became a school now.
Oh, wow.
It's a school now.
Dennis is asking you, Alfonso, if you know hobo shoestring.
No.
I don't even know what that is. It says Hobo Shoestring had a YouTube channel. He rode trains. He recently died. Oh, wow. But I said it would have been so neat if they'd have kept the train tracks and everything. And today maybe ran a passenger train from my hometown into Wilmington and back. That would be so neat.
You know what? It'd be too expensive to maintain those tracks. That's why they have to rip them up.
Yeah, probably.
It's just the cost of maintaining the rails, having to replace them.
Well, it looks like it wouldn't be any more expensive to maintain the tracks as it would to maintain a highway. But I guess maybe it would be. I don't know.
Yeah, it's expensive replacing ties, the rails, because the rail gets worn down pretty heavily. Because I know my model trains are expensive. Like they're meant to run and operate like a real train.
I hope y'all didn't hear that. Did y'all hear that call that was just trying to come through? I hope you didn't.
No, you went silent.
Yeah, Dennis is telling you to go look at that hobo shoestring. I might check that out. That's kind of neat. I watched a video yesterday where these people live way out in the boonies in Alaska, and they have to drive their Jeep or four-wheeler a long ways to get to the railroad track,
Oh,
And
I
then
seen
they
that.
gave,
I seen it in
yeah,
Railroad Alaska.
yeah, the train would stop where they would go to wait for the train, and they'd get on the train, loaded up with crates and different things, and they'd go to that town that's pretty good ways away that they couldn't drive to, do their
Right,
shopping, and then the train would load up big pallets of their crates that they had bought, food and everything, and coolers full of meat. They'd have two big pallets of food and loaded up on the train for them. And then when they got back to where they were picked up, their neighbors came and helped them unload the pallets off the train. And then
I
they had
seen
to,
that. I seen. I seen that
that's
TV show
pretty
Railroad
wild.
Alaska.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah, because they live in the small town Tatita, and that's like very remote from Anchorage or Fairbanks.
But I thought it was neat that the train at least stopped to pick them up, to
Oh
bring them
yeah,
into that town
yeah.
and
That's the
help
only
them
train,
load
like
stuff.
the train that runs through it every day.
They were stocking up for their winter supplies. They spent over $1,000 in food, and they said they'd probably make another trip or two to pick up some things. That is, if he didn't get a moose to get the moose meat that he would like to get, he'd have to go back in town to buy more meat for the winter, because after a certain point, they would not even be able to get to the train.
Right,
So they'd spend all winter eating just what they had reserved, stored away for the winter months.
right. The winters are so brutal down there. I heard it gets down to -50 every winter.
Mm.
-60.
I don't think I could live in Alaska.
Well, I tell you, here in Colorado, we get down that extreme too in the winter. Here in
Okay,
Colorado.
Grandma Teresa, you have a good day. Pick some good dinner. I'll come over and eat with you.
Now here in Colorado, we could get down to -50 in the winter.
Yeah, I don't like it that cold. I've never lived in a place where it got that cold.
Like I'm from New Mexico originally, like near El Paso, Texas. You know how the winters are very mild and the summers are extremely hot. But I'm used to the climate down there. But then up here, it's different. Like so brutal. Like in the
And
winter,
where are
we
you
get
at?
down
Where are you at, Alfonso?
the Denver metro area.
Denver?
Metro.
Huh. Yeah, Denver, Colorado. It would get kind of cold up there.
Oh yeah, we get down when we get down to -24, wind chill -50, 60 in the winter.
I think Dennis is asking you if your train ever stops for refueling.
Oh yeah, it stops until the battery runs out. Then it stops itself automatically, like it slows down. Then I gotta charge the battery up, get like a 1 or 2 hour run out of it. Especially all the cars.
That is neat. That'd be a great pastime.
Yeah. I was looking at the model train accessory, like the building and all that. They're so expensive, like $200-300.
And see, that's what my daughter-in-law's father has. He has buildings and all kind of landscape and
Yeah.
stuff all around his trains running through and everything. It's really neat.
Yeah, but see, this is a larger scale. It's it's bigger and larger and takes up more space. The way the layout is on this, it is humongous.
Yeah, I don't think his trains are quite as big as yours.
That's why I have it on the floor, because the track is like 5 feet diameter across, like 5 feet wide by almost 20 feet long.
Yeah, his was taking up basically his whole garage on some kind of table that he had in there.
He
It was a
but he
big
had
table,
but he had the smaller scale, right?
but it wasn't 20 feet. But it looked really neat. You could tell he spent a lot of time with his
Oh
train
yeah,
set.
yeah. But I tell you, like the model trains, like the most popular is the HL scale, the regular size, because you could do a lot more scenery, more building, a lot of switching with the HL scale.
Dennis
And
says, Alfonso, that was nice. Thank you.
you're welcome.
Dennis
But
said
I
he
tell,
didn't hear anything.
but I can tell you with mostly with the HL scale, you could get a real nice layout on a 4x6 plywood with HL scale, like two lines.
Yeah, I think that's probably about the size he had, something like that.
Yeah, and a four by eight plywood on a table. You could do that with the HL scale and O scale. And there's smaller ones on N scale, it's about the half the size of HO, and you could put that on a 2x4 sheet of plywood. It's much real
Susan
small.
says to tell Alfonso we can't see him. You're showing your trains, but they can't see you.
Now can they see me?
That was Susan. She said, Alfonso, we can't see you.
I'm trying to figure out how to set a second camera on my model train and put myself in front of the green screen to get more closer, you know. Because right now,
So,
what I've been I've been doing some green screen videos on with my model train, like changing the
oh,
background.
really?
Yeah, that's what I like to do.
Susan said, hey, good looking.
I'm not good looking. I'm ugly
She
looking.
says, what you got cooking? He's got his trains cooking.
Got my train making applesauce, putting apples on the railroad track and let the train smash it, and you get instant applesauce.
Dennis says, how about cooking something up with me? They got into the song. Hey, good looking. What you got cooking? How about cooking something up with me?
I remember that song by Hank Williams
Oh, yeah, I remember it.
back in my days.
Too funny.
Remember that song back in my days. I was
Well, I saw that you are multi-talented, Alfonso.
yeah.
You went from playing harmonica to guitar to banjo.
The
Is there any
piano.
instrument that you do not play?
Um, instrument that
It looks like you pretty much play all of them.
I don't play the saxophone or the trumpet, you know, or the flute, nothing like that.
My daughter played alto sax in high school band. My son plays lead guitar. That's what he fell in love with. He had his own band for a while there, but when you start being a daddy
It's
and
hard.
your band members are starting to be daddies,
Yeah,
they have to spend more time at home.
yeah, they fall apart. And I tried
And
putting my, I tried
they
putting my
can't be
band.
gone every weekend to play gigs. So
Right, but I tell you what, I tried. Here's what happened 10 years ago when I worked at the thrift store. My manager tried to get me to put a band together. She got me a guitar player. She found me one off of Craigslist, and he told me that he was a professional and all this and that. And when I tried him out, I got all frustrated because I told him what song we're gonna play and what key. He had not know how to change the chords or nothing on that guitar.
oh
He had
wow.
no how. Oh my god, like, and he wanted $80 an hour.
Woo. Did you ask him who was his teacher?
No, he told me he was a professional player and all that. He was playing professionally. He was playing with the Eagles and all that. But it turned out I wasn't. Looked up his name. No, nothing. Very
Yeah.
dishonest.
He was going to make it all sound good to get some quick money.
Yeah, yeah. And then in 2017, we had the ADA American with Disability Act celebration. Oh my gosh, I got my friend and my friend, this other girl, in a wheelchair. She plays the tambourine. She helped me play a lot, and then we got this guitar player to help us play. He agreed that he wasn't gonna charge us, and you know what happened
Hmm.
at the event? He 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 was so disappointed because he told me, how can you didn't tell me the because there was no good sound. There was it was at a church, at a big church where we had the ADA celebration with all these vendors and all that. And like, how can you didn't tell me that there was no sound, there was no stage lighting? I didn't say that there was gonna be stage lighting or fancy, nothing fancy like that. I didn't say anything like that. And, I'm very disappointed. I'm embarrassed being around with a whole bunch of people with disabilities, a whole bunch of retards. That's what you tell me. Say, what? What did you say? And I tell you what. And then he tell me, you know what? I lost $120 just for playing with you and your other friend. And he told me, well, you got to pay. He told me you got to pay me up $120
Hmm.
because he told me he was so disappointed that he didn't get to that he didn't get what he wanted. He
Well,
wanted like a.
not
I felt
everybody gets
bad.
everything they want.
I was so I was so upset. Because I didn't have no money to pay him up. Because he told me he wasn't gonna charge me.
Huh.
But he tried to screw me over. I told my friend I need 100. I was all sad and crying because I didn't have no money to pay him. My friend said, "No, you're not gonna give him crap. No, you ain't gonna pay him."
Hmm. Tell him you'll pay him when your ship comes in.
Yeah, he said he's embarrassed to be around with people with disability. That's his problem.
Huh.
He was he was so embarrassed. I think your sound went out.
Let me see if I can.
Yeah, now I can hear you. Your sound went out, Linda.
Yeah, it was the where I can turn off the notifications now. I thought I had
Yeah,
them turned off already, but evidently I didn't. And it was a phone
yeah.
call trying to come through, and it turned my sound off.
Like I said, I can't believe that guy like really wanted me to pay him up money that
Well,
I
if he
didn't
was
have.
that good, if he was that much of a professional, and he played with all these big name bands,
Yeah,
he shouldn't be out of work. He shouldn't be out there looking for work. I wouldn't think.
but there's another guitar, but there's another guy. The first guy like he was dishonest with me. Claimed that he played with a big band, but it wasn't true. But
And he
no,
never did. If
no,
he'd been playing with all these big bands, he probably wouldn't be out of work.
right. But the guy that really screwed me at the ADA celebration really hurt my feeling because I didn't have no money to pay him. My friend didn't let me pay him squat.
Yeah, unfortunately, after starting the live, it doesn't let me go back to change the notifications on it to where I can turn them off. I thought I already had it turned off, but I didn't evidently. What are you doing, Dennis? He says he's going down to the river to watch the fish swim by. But when I got to the river so lonesome I wanted to cry. I'm going down in it 3 times, but Lord, I'm only coming up twice. Hank Sr. I tried singing one of the fishing song to Hank Jr.'s version of it. I couldn't do it. I had to go back and get Hank Sr.'s version of the fishing song and use his music to record that song that I sang.
Yeah, but you know what it is, Linda? Because they both sing in different keys. That's what it is.
Yeah, it was a different key, and I couldn't sing it with Hank Jr. He sang in a key that I just didn't agree with me. But
Yeah,
Hank
because
Sr. did.
here's the thing. Because me as a professional recording artist, I sing songs in the key that I'm comfortable in.
Yeah, that's me. And I see so many people get on YouTube and they do karaoke because they don't have a band to back them up, and they're
Yeah,
like me. They need the music, so they use karaoke CDs. And
but yeah, you know what I do? When I do my recording, I do everything multi-track, and then if I want to make my karaoke track, I just go back to the multi-track recording and mute out the vocals or the harmonica part, whatever one I use my track for.
well, I use the tracks that don't have vocals on them, just
Yeah,
the music, and it
yeah,
shows
but
you the words.
yeah, but I create my own backing track. I make
Yeah,
my
but I
own.
can't do that. I don't have all that equipment you've got. But I've seen some people get up there and just try to sing every song that comes up by
Yeah,
every artist, and it's impossible. Because, like I
yeah,
said, they change keys,
yeah,
and there's some keys you just can't sing in.
yeah. You gotta sing in the key that you're comfortable in.
Right. That's why I don't go live with my singing because I'm not comfortable singing in all these other keys. I sound terrible.
Yeah,
I want to sound halfway decent, at
yeah.
least
That's why you
sound
gotta.
like I halfway know what I'm doing if
Yeah,
I'm up there singing, and it's got to be a key that's right for me.
yeah, a key that match with your voice. Like I know a
Right.
lot of songs I play are either in the key of G or D or A. Sometimes the key of C.
Dennis Alfonso does his own show. He goes live and he plays his harmonica, he plays his guitar, his banjo. He does concerts, live concerts through YouTube. I don't know if you do them every night, but I've caught
I do it
several of
every
them
Saturday night.
every Saturday night. So
Yeah,
you might want to catch Alfonso's lives on Saturday night, Dennis. You can't get a word in with a wedge. Yes, you can.
you can also check out my videos where I have some music videos up with Alfonso and the Clones, where there's like multiples of me playing each instrument, where I got myself cloned.
Do you have each one playing a different instrument?
Yep, yep.
That's neat.
Because
Playing the
here's what I
same
did during
song?
the playing what I did during the pandemic. I had my DNA sample sent to a friend of mine who works at a top secret lab out of White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico, and I got cloned that way.
Uh,
So so imagine they're having two of you. Imagine there are two Lindas. If I get you
I don't
cloned,
think the world's ready for that.
if I get you cloned like the way I did it with myself, send your DNA sample to White Sands to a company called New Tech.
Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to clone yourself?
For the purpose of playing music.
I think you've lost me. Is this for real life cloning a real person or just cloning
Cloning in
the
post
videos?
production, the videos, in
Yeah,
post
just the
production.
videos.
like in green screen.
Yeah, that's pretty
But
wild.
yeah, but however, my friend that worked at White Sand, he 20 years ago. I remember when I lived in New Mexico. He sent a picture. He sent pictures to everybody in church about the top secret lab, how they're doing all the creating new animal, new species, all the top secret information,
Yeah.
how they're doing genetic engineering and all that, like creating new species, new animals, a bird with a cat's face, a dog with a bear's head, caterpillar with the or something like that. Strange images coming out from that lab of White Sand. But I tell you what, that was kind of scary. And they're also working on, for real, like in reality, they also been working on DNA testing, like on cloning humans and animals.
Oh, wow. Well, they've said for years that these companies are genetically growing our food. I mean, the chicken we get in the store is not real chicken. It's a genetically grown chicken or something.
Genetically modified, yeah.
Yeah,
But
I don't
not a
know.
white, and not now at White Sand Missile Range. They're working on what's called lab grown meat, lab grown chickens.
Oh, Dennis is asking, can Alfonso tell us his channel?
Yeah, my channel is AS Blind Made Production.
Yeah, if you saw his statement in chat, it's got his channel listed there. Put something else in chat, Alfonso, so they can see it.
Yeah, let me see.
He wants to know if you sing.
Yeah, I do sing. Like
There it is, Dennis. A&S Blind Man Made Production. AS Blind Made Production.
yeah, because that's like my record label, my own record label.
Well, listen to you.
Yeah. I mean, like, if they're like what they're doing at White Sand, like we don't really know because a lot of it's like top secret, classified information from the military and the government. Like we don't really know what's going on, what they're doing.
I tell you, you don't know what to buy at the store anymore. I saw some advertisement where this woman went and bought chicken breast.
Yeah.
And when she washed them under the faucet, the water, the chicken breast just like shredded. It was like in shreds. It
Right.
looked weird. I said, that can't be true. It was genetically produced chicken.
Lab grown.
Dennis says he'll look you up, Alfonso.
Thanks. So I'll tell you what, like it's getting kind of scary.
I know you
Well,
don't know what you're eating anymore.
and then you don't know what kind of animals they're creating at White Sands.
Exactly. Pretty soon we're not even going to have food. It's just going to be man-made products
Yeah.
of some kind. Mystery meat, mystery food.
Yeah.
That's what my dad used to
Synthetic,
call all
like
the,
synthetic food, like
yeah,
all chemical based.
yeah. That's what my dad used to call K rations when he was in World War II. He
Yeah.
said they'll, if it was in a can back then, you said it was mystery meat,
Right.
but you ate it. You didn't know what you were eating.
Yep. Yeah, but I tell you what, like down in White Sands, my friend that worked for the company New Tech, he told me a lot of stories what they do over there, and stuff like that. Like nothing he can't say what he does gets classified.
Yeah. Dennis, I hope it was white chicken. I don't know. It looked like it should have been white chicken that she had washing it under that water faucet, but it looked like the chicken was just going to shreds as she was running the water on it. I said, that's scary.
Yeah, over the years, like the turkeys, you know how they used to be really small back then, like 50 years ago, they used to be smaller, but they've been genetically modified to grow huge over the
I
years,
know
over the
some of the
decades.
turkeys are so big now you couldn't get them in your oven.
Yeah,
I couldn't
but
even
over,
pick
over
them
the
up to put in the
decades,
oven.
they normal sized turkey were smaller. They were like 5 or 7 pounds over the past several decades. I'm talking like 5, 6 decades ago.
I mean, that's what they do with chickens too. They feed them all this chemicals, all these things, growth hormones or something to make them bigger. Same way with your beef, your cows, your
Yeah, they're now
you
they're
know,
they're genetically modified to grow larger.
so they can make more money off of them.
Yeah, even not only that, like like the strawberries and the grapes that you buy in the store and all those. You know how they're kind of big, right?
Yep,
And the ones you plant in your garden, they're not that big.
I know.
But you know why? Like my friend was telling me, that I walk with on the trail. She tells me that a lot of the strawberries and the fruits that you see in the store, like the reason they grow so big because they're genetically modified for the purpose of shipping to grow bigger than
Yeah.
for the purpose of shipping.
Well, that's one of Cody's remarks when he walked through my garden. He saw my peppers before I picked them. They were still on the plant.
Yeah,
He said, "Oh my God, look at those peppers. I've never seen peppers that big in somebody's personal garden before. But look, they're as big as
yeah,
the peppers you get in the store.
yeah.
And these are not, they're not fed growth hormones in the
No,
fertilizer either.
no.
But yeah, there's some of them in the store that are a lot bigger than that. And I
Yeah.
know they probably were given something to make
Because
them
I
get
I
bigger.
noticed that when I grow my squash and zucchini, they're a lot bigger than what you normally buy at the store. They're a
Yeah.
lot bigger when you grow those your own. But
Yeah.
like especially
Dennis said the
corn.
girl that cut your trees told the story about what happened to the black chickens. Yeah, when she worked at that place, she said they kill the black chickens because they have black spots like on the skin and they're not up to standard to ship for the stores to eat, for meat. And she said she used to get all the little baby black chickens and take them home. And she had quite a few little black chickens at her house because she didn't want them to kill them. She took them home with her. I said, well, I guess you could get eggs from the chickens, even if they were
Yeah,
black. I don't know.
I think that sounds racist to me right there. Like they didn't want no black chickens. That's kind of
Well,
racist.
if you got a chicken breast and it had black spots on the skin, you probably would wonder, well, what's wrong with that chicken? I'm not going to eat this, you know. And they say there's some actual black chickens that the meat is black. So I guess if it's a real true black, the meat is black. And people don't usually market those because people aren't going to eat black chicken. So the ones that she had there, they must have been some of them that got crossed with the white chickens
Yeah,
somehow.
yeah.
And they were just killing all the baby chickens that were black because they couldn't send them to market. Dennis said goose force feds Lagra. Is it question time yet? I want to know if Cody is your son. No, Cody is not my son. I've already been asked that. Cody is just a friend. My son's name is Chad. He was working and he lives an hour and a half away from me and he works in Fort Worth. He works all the time. So, no, it was not my son. Yeah, they're real nice people. He said to let him know anytime I had anything that I needed help with. I said, well, the problem is I got to have the money to pay people to help. He said, well, I'll work for just trades from your garden. I said, well, I don't always have produce coming from the garden to trade, so we'll see. But no, Cody was not my son. Getting to coughing again. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice, Dennis? Dennis says brown cows make chocolate milk.
Well,
Farmers
that's
would
not true.
farmers would luck out if that was true. But then they'd have to have white cows to make white milk.
Right. Well, but apparently they all make white milk, anyways.
Right.
You know what? Where I'm from in New Mexico, we have the Farm and Ranch Heritage Museum, and the times I went in for school purposes, like for school assignments, stuff like that. Especially I took photography and stuff like that in college, and I had to go to the Farm and Ranch Heritage Museum. And also for my portfolio, 'cause I had to do a professional development assignment there, so I had to go there. And we had to, and I got to see how to milk the cows there at the Farm and Ranch Heritage Museum.
Yeah, everything is automated now. Even milking of cows, they
Oh
don't
yeah,
milk them by
yeah.
hand anymore.
Technology is different. There's so much technology now in the agriculture that you'd be surprised now. Like they got machines. You can just hook up the cows to the udders and hook up the hoses and everything, and you're good to go. And then just and does the rest.
Back when my grandparents were alive and they had their farm in North Carolina, they did everything by hand.
Yeah, they don't do it by hand anymore for sanitary reasons. They don't do that by hand anymore. It's all done
But
by
of
machine.
course, they only raise cows for their own use,
Right.
and chickens for their own use, turkeys for their own use, hogs for their own use. They didn't market any of it.
Yeah, but if it's gonna be marketed, yeah, you have to do it the correct way. You know, the USDA standards.
I mean, they were clean. I grew up eating their food off the farm.
Oh yeah,
Everybody's healthier that way for sure.
oh yeah. But now you know how it is now with the USDA. You know, like they want everything in, like done by
Yeah,
machine. You
they
know,
got to
like
get their 2 cents in it all.
yeah, they want to like everything to be safe and sanitary. You know, there's standards.
Sheila says milk not mild. I don't know what that comment is. My dad asked me if chocolate milk had mild in it. I had to force myself to keep a straight face. What is mild? Milk not mild. Y'all lost me. Penicillin. Well, if they gave the cows penicillin, it ended up some of it in the milk, I'm sure.
But
Whatever that cow ate.
yeah, one thing I learned noticed that they milk the cow every day or sometimes twice a day.
Yeah,
Uh, because and you know what happens if you don't milk the cow, then you could the cow could have problems. You know, health
right.
problems.
Well, my grandparents made their own buttermilk.
Yeah, you know what? When I was in high school, because I was always in special education, and they taught us how to make butter out of the whipping cream. And we had like a hand crank jar,
Yeah.
and that's how we made butter.
I've seen my mom make it with just a half-gallon jar.
Yeah.
She put it in there and start shaking it. It took a little while to shake it,
Oh
but
yeah.
she ended up with butter.
Oh yeah.
Oh, milk in it. It was a spelling mistake.
Yeah. What it is, basically with the milk. Well, it depends how long you do the you mix the whipping cream. You gotta mix till you get butter or whatever, you know.
Because, like I've said many a time, everything my grandparents consumed came from the farm. I think
Right.
the only thing that I remember my grandmother buying was coffee, flour, and sugar.
Right.
Everything else came from their farm because they cured their own bacons, ham, sausage.
Yeah.
Everything came from the
Then
farm.
the cost of getting those animals the meat processed, you know.
Well, they usually process their own. It was a lot of fun when they processed the hogs
Yeah.
because my grandmother had one of those great big cast iron pots that looked like a witch's pot
Yeah.
in the backyard with the fire under it. And they'd throw all the hog fat that they chopped up into chunks in that pot and boiled it or fried it in that pot until it was cracklings when you took the fat out. We used to love to eat those cracklings when they come right out of that pot. They were so good. You salt them down and eat them.
Oh yeah, I agree, man. Like when I lived in New Mexico, had friends and relatives that who lived in the farm, you know, and they would bring us meat from the farm, you know,
Yeah.
from the hog, you know. Like I knew one guy who would go down to Anthony, New Mexico to buy the pig, and they kill it right there in their yard and
Well,
make
when
the meat.
my grandparents butchered hogs, it was more than one, but they processed it right there. They didn't take it off anywhere to have it processed. They cut it all up, processed it. My granddad and my dad would hang up the hams and the bacon slabs. You know, they'd
Yeah.
salt cure it and all that and hang it up in the smokehouse. So all their sausage, ham, bacon, all that was fresh from their farm
Yeah, and
that they processed.
then the chili from down there is so good, you know, the chili from New Mexico. You
Like
get
I
the
said, if
real.
my grandmother wanted fried chicken on Sunday, she'd go in
Yeah.
the backyard and grab a chicken. She'd wring the chicken's neck, pluck his feathers. There was times I helped her pluck the feathers, and then she'd gut him open and chop him up and flour him up and throw him in the frying pan. You can't get fresher than that.
Now, now I was wondering, like, did you guys ever name the chickens or the farm animals or no?
No, now they had horses that were pets that they named, and they were workhorses too. Usually their milk cows were not butchered, so they might name them.
Yeah, but the
Um,
chickens and the hogs and all
no,
that.
chickens and hogs, they had them and they would like recycle them so often you never named them.
But
But
I was
my
gonna say it's good that they don't rename them because here's why I learned from another channel. Why you should not name your livestock because you do not want
yeah,
to be
because
with the conscious
you
knowing that you eating someone.
you become attached to it just like your pet, and you don't want to
Yeah,
eat your pet.
yeah. You don't want to be with the conscious. I'm eating this. I'm eating him or whatever. You know. Oh, I'm eating Lorenzo. I'm eating.
Yeah, my grandmother go out in the backyard, go to where the chickens nest, and gather her eggs.
Yeah.
The big difference in lifestyle like that and having to go to the store and buy everything.
Right. Yeah, but now imagine buy an animal. You know. You're looking
Yeah.
at 1,000, like 800, over $1,000 for a cow.
No, Dennis, she didn't cook a brown chicken. The chicken, well, they might have been a brown chicken. The feathers may have been brown, but the meat was white. Yeah, well, the thing about when you have it yourself, you process it yourself, you don't get all the additives that they do in the store. You know, they don't put stuff on it to make it appear fresh longer. They don't put the preservatives in food that they process and sell to you in a box. Because everything that they processed was either canned, frozen, or smoked in the smokehouse or something like that. You didn't get all of the chemicals and stuff that they process food with today. I think that's one reason why a lot of people get sick. They actually get sick from consuming a lot of processed food.
Right.
All the additives in box food and canned food and whatever.
Right.
Because you know, when we canned beans years ago, you put those beans in a jar with your whatever you're going to put in there, usually just the beans and some water, and you put them in a canner and you canned them. You didn't put a lot of preservatives in there. And the stuff you get nowadays is full of preservatives.
Oh, yeah.
Donna says, not Billy. What are you talking about, not Billy? Well, who's Billy? He used to ride in the truck with me. His name was Amos. A pet goat. Oh my goodness, you had a pet goat, Dennis, that used to ride in the truck with you? And Billy was your Billy goat?
Actually, you'd be surprised. Some people will keep the chickens as pets, you know. And they try to take the chickens everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I think I would have a hard time eating a rabbit. Because to me, I've never raised rabbits, but I had a rabbit one time. But he was a pet rabbit.
Yeah.
And there's no way I could have eaten that rabbit.
But actually, the rabbit, you could use their waste for manure.
Yeah, you could.
That's
I
what people
thought
have
about getting
rabbits for.
rabbits, but I said they multiply so fast, I'd have to start selling rabbits, I could imagine.
Yeah.
But yeah, their manure is real good for the garden. It doesn't burn the garden like chicken manure will.
Well, other
You can use
compost.
it right away.
Actually, when I bought compost for my garden, like the compost manure that, oh man, when I got like 40-pound bags of those, got like several of them. Ooh boy, it smelled like something was burning. It smelled like petroleum.
Oh
The
no.
compost manure. Oh my gosh. And I can kind of see why I'm having an issue with my garden, you know. Because part of the compost manure smelled like smelled like it was burning, you know.
Wow.
And I did some research. Yeah, compost manure can be flammable if you're not careful. They're combustible.
Right. Because when you build a compost pile, it gets awfully hot in the center of it.
Yeah.
Especially during hot weather.
Yeah, and it smells like petroleum or gas, something like that. Like, and I tell you what, if you're not careful, yeah, you're gonna have a combustion, and you can start a fire that way too.
Rita, are you leaving us? She said bye. Dennis says there was already enough Billies. That's what I've heard, and I had friends of mine that raised rabbits, and they did sell them, and they ate rabbit, but I've never eaten a rabbit. I mean, it's probably good, but it's just the fact that I've never eaten a rabbit. I've eaten squirrel, raccoon, coon. I've eaten birds.
Now I heard
My brother,
raccoons are very pesky animals.
yeah, I've had coon hash, as they call it, and that's pretty good.
Like raccoons are out there to basically steal everything from your garden, right?
Right? You'd be ready to put them in a pot.
They might be
I
cute,
don't
but
know where Wilson is. He probably doesn't know I'm live.
those raccoons
Don-
they might be cute, but they're pesky. They're out there to steal.
Yeah, don't catch the garden on fire. I haven't yet, Dennis. See how long we've been on here. Oh my goodness, we've been over here for over 2 hours. I guess we need to get off.
All right, thank you, Linda. You have a great day.
You too. I appreciate each and every one of you for coming to my live today, even though you only got an hour's notice, so about an hour's notice. So y'all have a blessed evening, have a blessed week, and I'll see you on my next one. We'll see you Thursday night, if not before. Love y'all. Bye.